Intelexx here, and welcome to Intelexx, a place for entrepreneurs podcast, the podcast for Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, the Indeed for Artists. We are in season 3, and if you want to catch up on all of our seasons, make sure to check us out on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, and so much more because we have had so many amazing episodes, so many amazing entrepreneurs, so much advice on different books you can read, different influential people that you can look up, resources, and so much more. If you are interested in becoming a part of our podcast as a feature, definitely connect with us because we have so much in store for you. So sit back, relax, and tune in to today's episode. Hello and welcome back to Intelexx, a place for Artrepreneurs podcast. We are in season 3 and this is episode 12. I'm so glad you all tuned in today. If you are listening on our podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, wherever streaming platform that you are on, if you're on YouTube with us, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back to the podcast. If you're interested in being a part as a feature, definitely connect with us. All right. This one is a treat. Okay. I'm excited about this episode. So it's our 12th episode, and we are going to be focused on our artist spotlight. And that artist is Crystal Renee Hazlett, the one and only. And if you don't know who she is, you're going to find out just a little bit today. All right, so she is 41 years old. She grew up in Martin, Tennessee. She went to school, graduated, started on Capitol Hill. She realized after being there for a little bit of time that wasn't what she wanted to do, even though it was great. She had an internship there, and they gave her a job based on that internship. And once she realized that wasn't really her dream, she risked it all right, so she knew that she wanted to be in singing and acting, and so she moved from DC to Atlanta, and things grew from there. Now mind you, if you ever hear her, she'll talk about how it took 10 years for her to get to where she is, to where people know who she is, but that grind was real. Okay, so just a little bit about Crystal is she is an actress, a producer, a singer, a podcast creator, and so much more, stylist. All right, so once she moved to Georgia, she was able to get a job being a PA, a production assistant, where it's kind of like you're going for coffee runs, you're making sure people have everything, you are styling them and making sure the behind the scenes is where it needs to be. Because for those of you who may not know, being in the entertainment industry and hosting events, doing shows, things of that nature, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of teamwork to make sure that it flows correctly. All right, so when it comes to being a part of a production, there's a lot of layers that goes into it. And so Crystal has behind the scenes knowledge before she came into the forefront. All right, now she was in Amsterdam, and she tells us from before that, she was out there living her life. She got a call from Tyler Perry, who, for those who don't know, is the creator of Tyler Perry Studios, created so many different movies, playwrights. He's just an amazing person, has given back in so many different ways, and he asked her to be his personal stylist. And at the time, she was getting callbacks from different opportunities for acting, and things were starting to look up. She had a moment of silence to pray, meditate, and to really figure out which way was the right way to go. long story short, she decided to go with Tyler Perry, become his personal stylist for 5 years before even mentioning that she was interested in acting. All right, sometimes you gotta serve your way to the top. Not sometimes. That should be all the time, right? You have to serve your way to the top, because if you're not willing to serve to get there, you're gonna stay right where you're at. All right, and so once she, told him that she was interested in acting, he had no idea. She even auditioned and thought he saw it and didn't think she was up for the job, but he didn't have any idea about it. And so once she told him that, he said he was going to give her a small role and she was going to make it however she wanted it to be. And so her words were, "You can count on me, I won't let you down." And she started off being the stylist, the costume designer behind BET's Sister, Perry's production. And with, in that first season, she was doing behind the scenes. Once season 2 started, she was one of the sisters. All right, and so her story is amazing, and like I said, she does so much. Listen, you can learn so much from her. She's very business oriented, and she says she learned everything that she knows about the business, how to handle fame, how to take care of her money well, and all of these things just by being under Tyler Perry. So that's something that we can all learn, is that when we are wanting to be in certain positions, to be around those people that are in those positions so that we can learn from them, okay? Because we always have something to learn. There's always somebody that knows something that we don't know. And if we aren't in those right circles, we won't find out, okay? And if that means you have to upend your life and go to a different location, transfer somewhere else, or do something radical so that you can see change, do what you gotta do, boo, okay? Because at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you want change and if you want better and you know where you are right now is not where you're going to stay, you can't stay there. You have to do something different. All right, so, I want you all to check this out. All right, that was the Crystal Hazlett. That was her singing in a movie Praise This. She was also in the movie as one of the actresses, as the first lady of the church in that movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty good. So that is where she is showcasing not just her acting skills, but also her singing skills. All right, and one of the things that really drew me to her is that she's real, she's open, she's honest. She is not afraid to share her beginnings. She's not afraid to show that, she had to really work hard to get to where she is. And now that she is where she is, we can all enjoy who she is. And she's not afraid to be raw, real, and uncut, okay, in front of all of us. And that's the one thing that I appreciate, because a lot of people like to show the success without the struggle, and she's not afraid to do it. All right, and if you are somebody that is looking to be successful in life, don't be afraid to share your struggle on the way there, because people can relate to the struggle. We all go through different things. We all have lost things, lost people, lost relationships, lost physical things. We have all gone through a period of loss. We've all gone through a period of promotion or demotion. we can relate. All right. And so if you think that you're doing somebody a favor by keeping those things to yourself, you're just hiding more of yourself. But the more you block off, you're not just blocking people off from you, you're blocking yourself off from them. So create genuine relationships and really grow and build and help people to know who you are, because they won't know if you don't tell them. And sometimes your actions show who you are, but a lot of times if people don't have access to you, they're not going to want to trust you. They can't build a rapport with you. All right. And one of the things that I really love about Crystal is that she's so open, she's so honest, and she's humble, right? Even in her position, she's not somebody that's unreachable, that's untouchable, that's, oh, I'm up here now, I can't talk to y'all little people. Like, no, she treats everybody with respect. She's very open. She's very, she presents herself in a positive light. She's always smiling. She's always greeting people. She has that light about her. She has a spiritual foundation, okay? Because without that, we probably wouldn't know who she is today. And I really appreciate that because, you know, I take my relationship with God seriously, and to see someone else in that light to where it's not really encouraged to share your spirituality in that entertainment industry, and she's not afraid to do it and unapologetic about it, is what I really like about her. I really love that she can act, she can sing, and she's doing so much that she wants to do. Her podcast, which is called Keep It Positive, Sweetie, is on its third season as well. Whoop whoop. And I've watched all of the episodes. If you have not, check her out on YouTube. Courtney Hazlett, or Keep It Positive, Sweetie. And it really digs into herself. She has a lot of different people who come on and share their stories. It's really like a therapy session, y'all, honestly. And I look forward to it every week. All right, so we're going to hear from the amazing artist and entrepreneur herself, Miss Crystal Hazlett. Let's check her out.
Can you share with us, do you feel comfortable enough sharing with us what's one of the things that you're battling with because of how you were raised?
It was just the way I was disciplined. You know, sometimes I just felt like it was harsh and unwarranted at times. I know the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. So it's like, to what extent do you spare the rod? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
It sounds like you grew up with a lot of fear.
I did. And it was like, it's crazy. And this is where it gets tricky, because if you looked from the street view of my upbringing, you would have been like, this girl don't want for nothing. Like, this is a happy family, beautiful family. But there were generational curses that bled into my generation when it was time for me to be raised, and things that I'm trying to unlearn and forgive and forget, you know, that are really hard to. And as an adult, you try to be empathetic to your parent because you know that they were only doing what they were taught. You know, so it's a double-edged sword where you're trying to understand, like, I know you were the way you were because of how your parents were to you. And that's all you knew. You were doing the best you could, but now I'm fucked up. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't, like, put it in any better way than that.
There's a beautiful dichotomy there, because there's the Crystal that grew up with so much fear, but there's also the Crystal that rebelled and
It's
was fearless.
Yeah, no, seriously.
So how do the two coexist?
You know, I almost feel like the fearlessness was a defense mechanism, you know, to show that, like, I am not this fearful little girl. I can do anything I want to do, and I don't have to be scared of making mistakes, you know. And it got to a point where, and I still struggle with perfection, being a perfectionist to this day, because I want to make sure everybody's happy. I want to make sure I please everybody. I don't want to get in trouble. Like, to this day, like, like, even with work, like, people make fun of me because I'm always like, you want to run it? I just want to make sure I know everything. I want to be on par. I want to have everything memorized. And it's because I don't ever want to let anybody down. I want to make sure, like, I'm hitting my mark in every part of my life. And as a child, like, I wanted to make sure I did everything right, but I wasn't doing anything right, and that's why I would get in trouble. And it got to a point where it felt like sometimes, like, nothing was good enough, you know? But I say that, and then in the same breath, I say that I had a great childhood. Like, there was nothing that I wanted that I didn't get. Two-parent household, beautiful homes. My dad built every house we lived in. Brand new car at 16. Like, everything a kid would want, like, I had that. You know what I'm saying? Class president, class favorite of every year. I was in the yearbook for class favorite from middle school through high school. In student council, captain cheerleader. Like, I was all those things, but it was times where I didn't want to be alive.
It sounds like that was a lot of pressure, because it sounds like you were always performing.
Which is why I'm so good at what I do now.
That sounds like a lot of pressure for a little girl.
It's a lot of pressure. And I remember, like, sitting in my room listening to Kirk Franklin's Hold Me Now, and I still listen to that song today, and it makes me weep, because I was like, it's too much. Like, I can't take it. And I see how people can, how it can look so perfect from the outside, and, like, you wonder, like, how did they kill themselves? And I'm like, I get that, you know? And I've never talked about this out loud and to people. And I think the only reason I feel comfortable sharing it now is because if I had acted on those impulses, there would be no Crystal Renee Hazlett. And the light that everybody sees wouldn't exist, you know? And I know there's people that are hurting and that are fighting with these same feelings and impulses to just end it all, because they feel like it's just too much. It's too much. But I just want people to see that the person that they just, like, look up to and admire so much has been there. And I got through it, still getting through it. And working through it, you know.
How do you soothe that little girl? Because that little girl never leaves.
She never.
That little girl never leaves.
She doesn't. You know what? Oftentimes I look at how gracious God has been, the things that He brought me through, how He protected me. And everything that I went through made me stronger. And it's, in a way, it was like a hazing. You know how, like, you have, like, sororities and fraternities where they break you down so that when you go out in this world, it's like, there's nothing you can say to me that's going to tear me down, because I already been torn down. Like, what are you going to do? Like, and that's just, I feel like that's what it was in some instances, where I was just like, this is just too much for a little girl to take.
Do you I know this, but I don't know if the world knows this, that you lost your mom at a really young age. Are you comfortable talking about that, about your mom?
Yeah. My mother and dad, they actually met in college. They had me, they got married, and it was, I was 2 years old, and she had a brain aneurysm, and it just left me and my dad by ourselves. And to this day, my dad doesn't really talk about it. My cousin once told me, he said, you were in bed and your mom was there and she wasn't answering the phone. And that's how my dad found me, with my mother dead next to me. And there are so many times in my life I wonder how life would have been if she was still here. You wonder, like, God, why did you take her away at such a young age? Like, well, I couldn't have gotten to know her, And it hurts, but I can't imagine what it would hurt like if I did actually get to know her and have that real connection. But like, people have come up to me and say that I remind them of her. And that makes me happy that like people see me in her, or see her in me.
Did you ever experience, I know that you grew up in a household that was both religious and spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever experience anger at God? Like feeling that you robbed me of an experience with a mom, like that?
There were times where I was like, God, why did you take her away? Absolutely. I wondered why he did that, why I had to go through the things I did as a child.
All right, you heard it from the one and only Crystal Hazlett herself, talking about how she grew up, her childhood, and she dropped a lot of gems in them. All right, so if y'all did not hear them, I want you all to rewind this back and listen to it again. All right, because she dropped some amazing gems in just those few short moments. Now, that was just a portion of her episode, Get to Know Me on Keep It Positive, Sweetie. Now, one thing that we do here is we do our gem drop, all right? And we want you to pick those up and use them for later. And she dropped a lot of gems in there. Basically, just because it seems like everything is good and everything is perfect when it comes to someone else's life, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what is going on, okay? And how some people can, what seems to be quote unquote having it all, living their life, living their dream, and still be miserable is a real thing, okay? And so being able to learn to not just serve your way to the top, be honest, speak to your inner child, because your inner child is waiting for you to comfort them, to help to heal them, help to nurture them so that they can be whole, right? Some of us have never spoken, have never had a conversation with our inner child, and we are in a place where you can tell that you are not in tune with yourself because you've been running, you've been doing so much to distract yourself from what it is that you have to do. Let's not do that this year, all right? Let's learn to heal. Let's learn to cope in a good way, right? We can cope in bad ways and pick up bad habits or have these vices that don't do anything but put us in a deeper hole than where we are at. So if you need therapy, go get some therapy. If you need somebody to talk to, or if you need to change your circle, do that. If you need to find something else to do that, right? But don't stay where you're at if you know it's not where you need to be anymore. If that place no longer serves you, go somewhere else that does. If those people no longer serve you, find someone that do. All right. Listen, this episode, meant a lot to me because this is someone who I have been looking up to. I've been following her for a little while now, and she's just an amazing person. Her light illuminates wherever she is. And if she so happens to watch this episode, shout out to you, Crystal, for all that you do. Keep doing the work, keep going, keep growing, and keep letting your light shine for the world to see. I appreciate you. All of your fans appreciate you. We love you. And I plan to meet her one day. So next time, we'll actually have a real interview with her. All right, where she's here, But, we're going to keep it moving. So if you are interested in what we have going on here at Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, make sure to go to Intelexx.com so that you can see what's best for you. You have a seed, so let us help you water it. All right, we are here to help you promote your unique artistry. We do that to the best of our ability. So if this is something that you are interested in, definitely make sure to check us out. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. And make sure to download our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub. It is on the Mighty Networks in your Play Store. Go there, download the Mighty Networks app, search the Artrepreneurs Hub, and you will find us there. And as a bonus, once you are a member at Intelexx and you are a VIP, a very important artistic person, intellectual, you have all-inclusive perks on the app, the Artrepreneurs Hub. Make sure to check that out. Well, listen, I thank you so much for taking this time out to get to know Crystal Renee Hazlett, our artist spotlight. Remember to let your light shine. If you are in a place where you don't want to be, don't stay there. Don't stay. Change it up if you need to. Relocate if you have to. Change your circle if you have to. But don't stay where you're at and be miserable and settle, because you were born to be great. So go out and be great, okay? Thank you once again for tuning in. I hope you all had got some gems from this. I hope you enjoyed this time on another episode here at Intelexx Artrepreneurs Podcast. And until next time, I hope you had an amazing day and an amazing rest of your week. Intelexx here, and welcome to Intelexx, a place for entrepreneurs podcast, the podcast for Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, the Indeed for Artists. Thank you so much for tuning into Season 3's 12th episode of Intelexx, a place for entrepreneurs. Next episode, you are in for a treat. Now you'll just have to tune in next time to figure out what that treat is. If you are interested in becoming a part of our podcast as a feature, definitely connect with us because we have so much in store for you. If you want to be a part of the intellectual community, check us out. We have so much going on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and everywhere in between. And we even got our own app, okay? So that we can best serve you. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of our vision. We appreciate you. This place would not be the same if it wasn't for you. And we wouldn't be here without all of our amazing subscribers and supporters. Don't forget to sign up for the talent show every month, and someone always leaves with a prize. And don't forget to take advantage of all of our special offers, our events, our merch, our resources, our referrals, because we are here to serve you, okay? And thank you for the love.